Picture this. Scranton, Pennsylvania, 1995. Behind a chain-link fence at the back of a railway museum, something monstrous sits forgotten in the weeds. Its paint has peeled down to bare rust. Rain has rotted through the cab floor. The gauges are gone, stripped years ago by souvenir hunters. Pigeons nest in the smoke box. A sign nearby says it was once a great locomotive, but nobody believes that anymore. Because if you looked at it right now, you'd see nothing but scrap metal waiting to happen. That machine was Canadian Pacific 2816. And in 1930, when it rolled off the floor of Montreal Locomotive Works, it was considered one of the finest passenger locomotives ever built on this continent, a 464 Hudson, nearly 643,000 pounds of steel, boiler pressure at 275 pounds per square inch. It capable of pulling a full passenger train at 85 miles per hour through the Canadian Rockies without breaking a sweat. In 1939, its sister locomotive pulled a literal king and queen across Canada. The royal family was so stunned by these machines that King George VI gave them a title no locomotive outside Britain had ever received. But by 1995, all of that was ancient history. CP2816 was a ghost, a wreck, an embarrassment even. And then one man looked at those rusted bones and said 4 words that everyone around him thought were insane. "We're bringing her home." What happened next is one of the most improbable stories in the history of railroading anywhere on Earth. If you're the kind of person who believes something lost can always be found again, hit subscribe right now, because this story is just getting started. To understand why 2816 mattered, you have to go back to 1930. The Canadian Pacific Railway was in a war it hadn't declared, a speed war, a prestige war, and the weapon of choice was the Hudson, a 464 locomotive type so perfectly balanced between power and grace that American railroads were falling over themselves to get one. Montreal Locomotive Works delivered CP's first batch in 1929 and 1930. Number 2816 was among them, an H-1B class machine built for one purpose, hauling Canada's most important passenger trains faster and more reliably than anything else on the rails. For 30 years it did exactly that. It thundered through the prairies pulling the Dominion. It climbed the Selkirks with the Trans-Canada Limited. It became part of the landscape of a country still figuring out what it was. Then diesel came, and overnight, everything changed. By 1960, every last Hudson was out of service. Most were cut up within months. CP was unsentimental about it. Steel was steel. Time was money. But 2816 survived. Barely. A New England collector named Nelson Blount bought it in 1963 and shipped it to Vermont as part of his Steamtown Museum. For a while, it was at least sheltered. But when Steamtown moved to Pennsylvania and became a national park site, 2816 fell through the cracks. It sat outside, through winter after winter, through decades nobody was counting. By the time CP's new president Rob Ritchie heard about it in 1998, the locomotive looked like it had been through a war it hadn't won. The expert opinion was unanimous, too far gone. Ritchie had a different opinion. On September 12, 1998, Canadian Pacific 2816 left Scranton, Pennsylvania on a flat car heading north. It crossed the border back into Canada for the first time in 35 years. It rolled all the way to North Vancouver, British Columbia, where a team of BC Rail steam mechanics were waiting with a very difficult assignment and no real roadmap for completing it. What they found when they started stripping the locomotive down was worse than expected. The cab was gutted. The boiler had corroded in critical spots. Dozens of components were either missing entirely or damaged beyond use. superheater return bends had to be fabricated from scratch. The drivers on the massive driving wheels. This was shipped all the way to a railway museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee, for machining. The boiler went to Portland, Oregon for a full rebuild. It was essentially a locomotive built twice. The bill climbed past $2 million Canadian dollars. Skeptics said it would never be worth it. They said a steam locomotive had no place on a modern railroad. They said the age of the Empress was over and no amount of money could change that fact. The shop crew didn't argue, they just kept working. 2 years of grinding, welding, fabricating and testing. 2 years of solving problems nobody had solved in 40 years because nobody had bothered to try. And then, in August 2001, in the yard at North Vancouver, a whistle blew that hadn't been heard since 1960. The Empress had a heartbeat again. September 2001. The world was a strange and uncertain place. But in Port Moody, British Columbia, something impossible was happening. Canadian Pacific 2816, a locomotive that every serious engineer had written off as a derelict, was coupled to a passenger consist and ready to move under her own power for the first time in 4 decades. Engineer Bill Stettler had worked on the restoration from the beginning. He had seen the worst of it. He knew every weld, every rebuilt bearing, every replaced superheater element. And now he was at the throttle, opening the regulator for the first time on a live mainline run. The locomotive moved, not tentatively, not with the hesitation of something unsure of itself. It moved the way a Hudson moves, with authority, with rhythm, and with that rolling thunder of pistons and steam that once defined Canadian rail travel. Over 5 days, the Empress covered 672 miles from Port Moody to Calgary through some of the most spectacular mountain scenery on the continent. Crowds gathered at every station. People who hadn't stood near a steam locomotive in 30 years stood on platforms with their hands shaking, some of them crying. Railroading media called it one of the great comeback stories in the history of North American steam. And CP, watching ticket sales and public reaction, quietly made a decision. This wasn't going to be a one-time stunt. The Empress was going back to work, but not everything would go according to plan. Now, this story goes places you are absolutely not expecting, like literally places. 3 countries, don't go anywhere. For 11 years, the Empress ran excursions across the prairies, heritage tours from Vancouver to Montreal, a double-header with Milwaukee Road 261, a starring role in an IMAX film, Rocky Mountain Express, that put her image on screens in science centers around the world. She was, by any reasonable measure, one of the most beloved machines in Canada. And then in late 2012, CP quietly ended its steam program. No ceremony, no final run. The locomotive was moved to the Calgary shops and covered up. The reason given was corporate policy. Steam excursions no longer aligned with business priorities. For 8 years, nothing. Then came 2020. The pandemic had cancelled everything, and CP wanted to do something different for its virtual holiday train. Someone in the C-suite made a call. Even the Empress was rolled out and fired up, not for a run, just for a moment, just to exist again in front of cameras, but it was enough to plant a seed. That same year, CP was negotiating what would become the most significant railway merger in North American history, a deal to combine with Kansas City Southern and create the first railroad network connecting Canada, the United States, and Mexico. New CEO Keith Creel had an idea, a bold one, almost theatrical in its ambition. If regulators approved the merger, he said, the Empress wouldn't just run again, she would travel from Calgary to Mexico City, through 3 countries, something no steam locomotive had ever done in the history of North American railroading. Most people thought he was joking. He was not. April 24th, 2024. Calgary, Alberta. The Empress departed, not on a test run, not on a heritage excursion through a familiar stretch of track. She left on a 76-day, nearly 10,000-mile journey across Canada, through the American Midwest, down through the South, across the Texas border, and into Mexico, arriving in Mexico City on July 10th as the first steam locomotive in history to link all three nations of North America in a single continuous trip. Crowds met her at every stop. People who had never seen a steam locomotive stood open-mouthed on platforms in Minot, North Dakota, and Kansas City, Missouri, and Laredo, Texas. Kids photographed her on phones. Old men wept on platforms in Saskatchewan. A locomotive built 94 years ago and twice written off, once left to rust in Pennsylvania for 35 years, had just made history on 3 continents. There's something almost impossible to explain about what the Empress represents. It isn't just nostalgia, it isn't just mechanical preservation, it's a kind of stubbornness that refuses to accept that beautiful things have to die on schedule. Rob Ritchie looked at a rusted hulk in 1998 and saw something worth saving. A shop crew in North Vancouver proved the skeptics wrong with their bare hands, and $2 million. And 94 years after she was born, this locomotive is still making the ground shake. Canada has built a lot of machines. It has forgotten most of them. It did not forget the Empress. And the Empress, it turns out, was not done. If this story moved you, subscribe. Drop a comment below. What do you think the Empress should do next? And if you know someone who loves trains, history, or just a great comeback story, send this to them. These stories deserve to be heard.